So I'm now going to show you how I use Linux to accomplish some of my tasks under this project that I have been doing. And so if you look at this, is showing my website with all the projects that I'm involved in. Now if you look at, let's pick one project, let's say project number 11. I click on that, it takes me to this page. And so this project, all that we are trying to do is to look at the impact of rainfall over Kenya on airborne diseases. So we have 4 stations in Kenya where we are trying to monitor the rainfall at those stations and correlate it with airborne diseases at those locations. And so what our partners are interested in is they are interested in the rainfall data from satellite at those locations every blessed day. So what I do is I try to give them the satellite data for rainfall at that location every day. So if I click on cumulative rainfall, then I have these 4 panels at those 4 stations in Kenya. So what you see here is that it's showing the daily rainfall over this particular location as seen by the satellite as at April 2nd, 2015, which is yesterday. So these are the 4 stations. And so the black line is what is showing the current rainfall. And so what I do is I have some bunch of shell scripts which I have written, and what it does is that it goes to a particular server, download the data, make the plot, and then put the plot on my website every day. So I have a cron tab job which is repeated every day, and it does this particular work or this particular routine. So it does it every blessed day. And so that cron tab job, you can write it in such a way that you tell it at a particular time it should be doing this particular task all the time every day. So that is one of the applications of Linux utilities, as well as for the cron tab job. Now let's go back to the web page and also look at one project again. Let's look at project number 13. Now, so for this project, all that we are trying to do under this project is we are trying to look at the impact of biomass burning on the climate in Africa, as well as the water cycle in that region. So that is what this project is about. So again, our partners there at any time want to know the meteorological condition at our region. They also want to know how the smoke from the fires are being transported, as well as which locations do we have the fires and which locations have rain over that region. And so again, what I've done is I've written some shell scripts that does this work for me. So what it does is it goes to the meteorological server, download the data, process it, plot it, and then put it on the website for me. So that is what the shell script does. And again, I have a cron tab job which is supposed to do this every day for me, so I don't have to be repeating the same process every day. So let's say, for instance, if I click on this, on the fires, this is what it shows. So what you see here is that you see the fires in Africa as at yesterday, which is April 2nd. So you, let me just try to get this in a more clearer way. Okay, so what you see is this is showing the fires as at between 1st April and 2nd April. Remember, today is 3rd April. So it has all the fires that has occurred in Africa between 1st April and 2nd April 2015. So this is what the script does. It pulls out the fire data, make the plot, and put it on the website for me. Now, if I go back again, and so let's go back to the project and then look at the rainfall. So this is showing the rainfall as at yesterday over the whole African region. So it means over the whole African region, most of the rain is within this region. That's where most of the rain is. So if you look at Ghana, as at yesterday, we have not seen any rain over our country. So the rain is mostly concentrated within this region. So this is what you can do with some of the utilities of Linux. You don't have to be repeating those routine every day. You can just write a shell script and it will do all those things for you. Let me now try to show you an example of a shell script. So this is an example of one of my shell scripts. This is how it looks like. So the first line is just showing you what type of shell that I'm using. So you see bash at the first line. So it's telling you that I'm using the bash shell. Then it follows with some Linux commands. So for instance, the cd with all those slash and that directory, we call it, is just, for instance, it's like Windows, where you show your folders. So in Linux, those showing there are the folders. So what I want to do is that before I want to get my metadata, I want to go to a particular folder which I call 2012. So the shell script will go to that folder and then run some IDL program, which is just a plotting program, and then change so when it runs the IDL program, it creates a particular another shell script, and then it will change the execution command. So now it is giving that new file, it is making it executable, and then it will run that file. It's also a shell script. It will run it. So running that script will only bring out, or it will just pull the metadata. Let me open that this file, which is also a shell script. let me open that file for you to see how it looks like. No, not this one. Let's see. Okay, so this is that file. You could see it here, get metadata. So that is that file. So what it does is that it pulls all this data from this website onto my Linux machine. So that is all that this script does. It pulls all the data that I'm interested in and then put them on my Linux machine. So you go down, it's just pulling the various data and then just calling it a different file. So that is what this script does. It pulls all the data and then it will just run some program, and then after that I tell it to just tell me that it has finished. So that is what this shell script does. It just pulls the data. So after pulling the data, then I do my plotting. So after pulling the data, then I do my plotting. So this part of the shell script is what is responsible for the plotting. So first I go to the ozone directory and do that plotting, and then after doing that plotting, then what you see here is it copies that plot and then put it on my website here. So that is what this line does. It just copies the graph that it has generated. It copies that graph and put it on the website. So I do that for both the ozone, the temperature, the wind, and I guess the relative humidity. So it does all this thing by itself because I've generated this shell script. So that is what this shell script does. Now, if I also showed you that for the fires, so let me see if I can get the